Hello, everyone, and this isn't the Legends podcast, although Adam was telling me that. Oh, hello, everyone. I forgot there's a delay. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Sunday Kickback, just a random live stream. Adam was telling me that he reminded me this morning that I wanted to shoot a Legends podcast today, which I did not remember at all. Which is good because I was actually planning to go out of town today, but because of the stupid coronavirus, I stayed.
Oh man, I was at the Walmart pickup parking lot for 4 hours last night.
Oh yeah, tell us about that because I was on a date last night and I just kept looking. I'm like, oh no, what is going on?
Well, we put in the pickup app like the order like that morning, and they said it'd be ready by like 6:30 or 6 to 7. So I got there at 6:30, and there was like 40 cars there, and there was like no spaces left. The people were like parking in like the driving area, like of the and I mean, it wasn't like interfering with traffic. So, but like right as soon as like I saw that somebody left their spot, I immediately took that parking spot, and I waited for like 4 hours, and I listened to like maybe like 2 chapters of an audiobook and everything. And it was just,
That's
and
ridiculous.
I know. And I'm just like, and then I went to Crest this morning, and I got everything I needed that I didn't get from Walmart in like 10 minutes. And I'm just like,
Walmart people are ridiculous. I was talking to a friend of mine 2 days ago, and the Walmart in our town is not super Walmart because the city council will not allow a super Walmart to be built because it will take away from other businesses.
mm-hmm.
I don't think it would, but that's neither here nor there. So our little Walmart decided that because there's no toilet paper in like the whole city, that they got a truckload of just toilet paper and they allowed people to go into the warehouse and line up. And there was literally people fighting, like pushing each other out of the way to get toilet paper.
I've been seeing that. It's crazy. Like I actually had to go to Dollar General after Crest to get baby wipes for my daughter. And it was just, she was telling me like, oh my gosh, like I didn't even get most of the toilet paper on the shelves or off the truck. People just lined up and they were just grabbing it. And I'm just like, hey, saves you time on your job, having to stock it.
There's going to be a lawsuit because someone's going to injure themselves being a jackass, and they're going to blame the company when it is not the company's fault that you're being ridiculous. But I mean, it is because you're not supposed to have people. Oh, my roommates are playing video games. Can't you tell?
Yeah.
No, you can't really have them in the warehouse typically because it's not OSHA compliant necessarily. It's just it's like a series of lawsuits waiting to happen because people are stupid.
I still don't even know why the toilet paper thing is so important. I mean,
it's a fabricated, like with a lot of the coronavirus, it just seems fabricated. But I don't want to talk about the coronavirus. I'll have to deal with it at work tomorrow. We were going to show off what we've been getting lately.
Yeah, I got one book here I was going to show. I was going to say, have you seen any of Hello Greedo's videos?
No.
Well, he put out a book recently. It's about like his journey into becoming a YouTuber, like how like what introduced him to Star Wars, and I think it talks about his life in the military. But I really do enjoy his videos. I like that he always wears the Stormtrooper helmet because nobody knows what he looks like on YouTube. Like seriously, like because I think he started off his channel in the military, from what I remember him saying, and that he had to like wear a mask or something like that.
Yeah,
but no, he's I've been reading it so far, and it's actually pretty good. So yeah, that's the one I was going to start off with, and here's these two. Like
I'm letting Brian. Adam has a lot of He has a lot less than I do. I have this daunting pile that I'm worried is gonna actually it's pretty structurally sound.
Yeah, most of these are probably gonna be like might just be like, oh yeah, I also have this one, but I've had this since for like 6 years now. So, but I bought these recently. Matthew from the Geeks Attic. Since we live in the same city, he showed me. We've been kind of like helping each other. Like, oh hey, this bookstore has this book. Like, and I got this, and I just actually finished reading it.
Oh, yeah. We were talking about this in the chat. Like,
Hmm.
it was last week.
Yeah, I just finished reading it. And it's actually pretty good. It actually has some scenes that are not in the movie that I wish were in the movie.
Very cool. That was something I love about movie novelizations of that era because the movies weren't done, and these things were supposed to come out as promotional material
Hmm.
or the Disney secrecy BS that is today. Like, we got to have the novelization for the movie come out 3 months after the movie was in theaters.
Oh, like with Rise of Skywalker.
Every one of the Disney movies has been that way with the novelization.
I actually saw in a YouTube video they showed like deleted scenes from like when they did the 30th anniversary of this movie, which was last year, and
Oh, that's right. They had that 4K Blu-ray that came out.
there was actually a scene where Robin was supposed to be in it.
What?
Yeah, Batman was chasing the Joker through the streets, like, and because he was somewhere else as Bruce Wayne, then he saw the Joker, and he's like, "Oh, I got to catch him while I can." And this was during that festival that's supposed to take place in the movie, and as part of that festival, they had the Flying Graysons, and
Oh,
Joker crashes into that those towers that were holding them up, and they fell, and Dick Grayson goes after them and everything. So it was supposed to have Robin in it.
that's fascinating. You've heard the story of Batman Forever when Tim Burton was supposed to direct, or he thought he was supposed to direct.
I
And
did. I saw something about that. I wish they did because I kind of wanted to see Billy D. Williams as Two Face, and
yeah,
yeah,
Robin Williams was the Riddler.
yeah.
And oh god, I think it was like supposed to be Chris Rock or something as Robin or some.
Oh, it was one of the Waynes brothers, Marlon Wayans, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was supposed to be in Batman Returns too, but what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, but in behind the concept art footage that was shown on YouTube, they had Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill like voice Batman and the Joker in that scene.
Oh, that's great.
I thought that was awesome. But and then I also got Batman Returns.
Okay.
Yeah, I do like this cover. I just it's very I know it's kind of simple, but I really do like that image of Michael Keaton, and on the back it just shows
A crow.
Catwoman.
Yeah.
I Go ahead.
I really like Batman Returns. I always have. Um, I think it's very underrated.
Yeah, it really is because I love the I love the update on the score that Danny Elfman did.
Yeah,
Like,
it's the best Batman score ever.
yeah, I love it, and I love the like during the prologue with the Penguin's family, like it makes it like all Christmassy and like in a haunting kind of way.
It's like a parody of Christmas too. It's very
Hmm.
Tim Burton in his dark sense of humor.
Oh, before I also have this. This is I had this for a while, but this is the not graphic novel version of the '89 movie.
Okay, I've seen that before.
Yeah, and it's got pretty good artwork. Like, here's the very final page.
Ooh.
I know, I
Oh,
really like
is that Jim Lee art?
it. Is no, I think it's Steve Oliff, or it's Dennis O'Neil and Jerry Ordway.
Hmm.
I'm not entirely. Oh wait, here we go. Here we go. Artist is Jerry Ordway.
Hmm.
It's really cool though. I like it. I'm wondering if they have the one for Batman Returns. So
I don't know. You know, I always think of Alien because Alien has weird comic adaptations that have not. The only one that's been reprinted is Alien, which was a Heavy Metal magazine exclusive.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there was one issue of Heavy Metal magazine that was just an adaptation of the Alien movie.
I'm gonna be honest, man. I only saw half of the first Alien movie. I've been wanting to go back and rewatch it. I was like, oh man.
Alien and Aliens are really good. Alien 3 I like, but I don't love it. I love the score. It is the best score of any movie pretty much ever that didn't have Star Wars in the title. And Alien Resurrection's a pile of dung. It's just bad. But Aliens never had a comic book adaptation.
Oh, they didn't?
No, it's the only one. Alien 3 had like a 2 or 3 issue comic book series, and Alien Resurrection had a 2 issue one.
Jaws 2 actually had a comic novelization
What?
or comic adaptation. Yeah, Jaws 2.
That's bizarre.
And I heard it's more violent than the movie because it actually shows the shark like tearing people apart and everything.
Dude, I love Jaws 2 because it's just Jaws but dumb.
It's Jaws, but like a Freddy Krueger makeover or something.
Yeah. Is it supposed to be the same shark?
No, it's supposed to be a different one. Like I guess they imply that like since the first shark was destroyed, like what if this shark was like related to that shark, part of the same?
Yeah, because I know in Jaws the Revenge they attempt to establish that it's one shark family that has a revenge plot against the Brodies.
You know, they actually, oh my gosh, they actually come up with a better explanation of that in the novelization of Jaws the Revenge, but I know some people haven't read it yet, and I know that I think, but it makes more sense, but it's still stupid. I'll just say that.
God, yeah, no, I just love that they couldn't get the guy who played Sheriff Brody back. So they just the fear of the shark killed him. It is the dumbest explanation of why someone isn't in a movie.
He killed 2 of those things, and he's afraid of them. I mean, I'm like, it's like someone that shot a scuba tank doesn't sound like he'd be afraid of it. Yeah. I mean, the guy's trained to deal with criminals and murderers and everything, and he's afraid of a fish. I don't think so.
Yeah, no, he literally killed 2 of them. And then it opens with one of the brothers gets killed.
Oh yeah, Sean, the youngest son, and well, originally that was supposed to be Martin Brody, the sheriff.
Oh,
yeah, I heard that it was originally supposed to be him, and
that makes a little more sense.
Like the shark finally got him or something.
It is real this time. It's like oh god, what is insert horror movie where the main character's killed in the beginning that survived the first one.
Oh, it was wasn't it Halloween?
Halloween Resurrection, yeah. Jamie Lee Curtis is killed in the beginning, and then Busta Rhymes uses kung fu to defeat Michael Myers in the end. Spoilers for a movie out in 2002.
I saw something like that. That was hilarious.
It's such a bad way to end the series. It's not even like Michael Myers died at the end either. I mean, he's died so many times, and they find dumb ways to bring him back.
You know, I like Michael Myers. I just don't like that they don't really explain how he's able to survive all this torture that he go. Apparently, they just said like you can't kill evil or something like that. And I'm just like,
so originally in the original novelization, it was like back in like the colonial America times. There was this guy who wanted revenge, and he used like this pagan ritual or some nonsense. And every like 100 years or so, it manifests in like someone, and they kill someone. And so that's what manifests in Michael Myers to kill his sister. But there's a trilogy within the Halloween series called the Thorn trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
There's this cult that worships Michael Myers. It's Halloween 4, 5, and 6, but they were really prevalent in 6. And which is also Paul Rudd's first movie. It's the only noteworthy thing about Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers, is that Paul Rudd's first film.
I don't know. Like whenever I heard what his middle name is, I don't know. His authority was compromised. It's like Audrey.
Yeah, I don't know, but like the whole thing is like there's these like they're some sort of like worshiping pharaoh like Egyptian gods or something, and they do rituals and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and that it's just passed from one person to another. There's two different cuts of Halloween 6, and both are not watchable.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, there was the producer's cut. It's on Blu-ray now. I couldn't believe they actually officially released it because I saw like a bootleg like 10 years ago of it, and it's not a finished film, but it was the one they screened to test audiences, and everyone hated it, so they recut the film, and everyone hated that too. But this is also in an era right before Scream came out. This is like a year prior.
It kind of sounds like the two different versions of Superman 2.
Oh yeah, the Donner cut.
Yeah.
Donner cut though is very watchable.
Yeah, I haven't seen it all the way through yet. I'll have to go back and watch it, but
The last Superman movie. I don't know. Like I love Superman 4: The Quest for Peace. That's because of how dumb it is. Puts all the nuclear weapons in a giant net and throws them at the sun.
I like how he has blue heat vision that repairs things.
I love when he fights Nuclear Man on the moon and there's no stars.
I like how Nuclear Man takes that one random woman into space and she doesn't die.
Superman 4: Quest for Peace. Next commentary track.
Oh, that'd be hilarious.
It'd be better than doing Supergirl because I don't think I could sit through Supergirl again.
I've never sat through Supergirl. Like I've probably seen like probably 2 or 3 scenes, and that was it.
The end fight, they couldn't afford to have the monsters she fought, so she fights an invisible thing. So cheap. They were supposed to get Christopher Reeves to do a cameo, but he read the script and said like no.
I don't blame him.
But he was in Smallville.
Oh yeah, he was. That was actually a pretty. I did see that cameo. That was actually pretty cool. Man, I already. Did you hear what they did with the whole Smallville storyline and the Crisis on Infinite Earths on the CW?
They gave up being Superman.
I know they spent 10 years on the show, and then like within the course of like maybe 8 years as being Superman, he's just like, I'm done. And they don't explain how he lost his powers or how he gave up his powers, but someone said that his watch had blue kryptonite in it or something like that, or I don't know. But I just like that he punched out Lex Luthor, and he's just like, hey, cool, I'm still stronger, even though I have no powers.
I never liked that they were the same age.
Oh, Lex Luthor and Clark.
I never liked Lex Luthor as a young man because it doesn't work for me.
Mm-hmm.
The whole dynamic with Lex Luthor is he's older and he's like he thinks he's smarter, and he may very well be, but he can't. It's always been like a jealousy thing in my eyes with him.
Yeah, like an inferiority complex type thing.
And that's why he hates Superman.
He actually made a funny. He actually admitted in one comic that Batman is smarter than him, and it was that Deceased comic storyline where it's like Marvel Zombies but with DC. Well, Lex Luthor was just like, I'm one of the only ones that can stop it. I am the smartest person in the world. Wait, is Batman still alive? And they said no. He's like, okay, then I'm definitely the smartest person in the world now.
God, do you remember? Do you ever read like the later DC stuff before New 52 happened, like right before Flashpoint?
No, Flashpoint was the last thing I read.
Right before that, Lex Luthor was the president of the United States.
Yeah, I always kind of thought that was actually a pretty good.
Cool. In an era where DC was getting a tiny bit stale, I wouldn't say fully stale. Certain things were just getting weird. Batman Inc.
Oh, Batman Incorporated. Yeah, I saw that.
Grant Morrison has to tie things together from random issues in the 50s and 60s.
The Earth 1 comics were actually pretty cool. I think they stopped making those though. They made a Superman Earth one, which was
I read Wonder Woman Earth 1 by Grant Morrison. It was bad. I remember that. Yeah, they did the Batman ones. They still do. There's a new Green Lantern one coming.
Yeah, I saw that. And yeah, they made Alfred, the one that trained Bruce Wayne to be Batman, which I could see, but I think that with all some of the villains that Batman has to take down, I don't know if Alfred was equipped to train him on everything.
That was like what I thought they were going to do in that awful Gotham series.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Alfred was like a military dude, and like
Yeah, he was always
like he was going to physically fight someone. Quality Autism says hello there.
How was you? Hey, Quality Autism, how are you?
So yeah, no, I've never I New 52 was the strangest thing, like looking back, that it was so do you remember the setup for New 52 and that Flashpoint became more of a big deal than it should have?
Yeah, I did read the comic, and I enjoyed the animated movie of it, but it was just like it's very dark.
Well, yeah, no, I liked Flashpoint. Actually, I like the supplemental like spin-off material of Flashpoint, like Thomas Wayne as Batman,
Yeah.
and Martha Wayne was the Joker.
Yeah, they explored like they still have a series of those Flashpoint comics.
Yeah. My issue was when the New 52 happened. It was 5 years into the DCU with all the superheroes. It was 5 years into Superman landing, like becoming Superman, basically. And Batman had five Robins in 5 years, and one of them had died and came back to life.
Oh yeah, Jason Todd.
Yeah, didn't work for me.
Yeah, I didn't read any of the New 52 stuff, honestly.
There's some interesting stories. I mean, Commissioner Gordon's Batman at one point, and he has a mech suit.
I saw that, yeah, and I think Barbara Gordon's not paralyzed anymore.
No, she got a surgery. So killing actually happened in those 5 years. So she was paralyzed for 2 minutes, and then they unparalyzed her.
Yeah, wasn't there 3 Jokers in the New 52?
Oh yeah, that was at the end when they were running out of ideas.
Yeah, and they didn't. I don't think they ever explained it.
No. Well, I mean, Joker freaking got his face ripped off, and then he safety pinned it back on. Hi, Jimbo Joe.
Hey.
Had like the death of the family happen. It was just there was a lot of they let Scott Snyder do way too much with Batman and take it in the wrong direction. I know Scott Snyder fanboys are gonna throw a fit over that, but like I remember reading like pretty much that whole run in like one sitting, and like I was reading. It started with 0 Year, which was like how Batman became Batman, and it was like they took Dark Knight Rises, but instead of breaking Batman's back, they just like destroyed all of Gotham, and it was run by the Riddler and not Bane.
Oh, really?
And it was like he created the 0 Year, and it was like it took literally a year and a half to like get through.
I did hear about those, yeah.
Which drove it just was so long. And then we had they had to bring the Joker back because sales were going down, and then Batman and Joker died but didn't.
Yeah, I saw that, and like Alfred like finds a note that just says "ha" on it, so you don't really know who's survived or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw.
Commissioner Gordon joins the Project Batman team and becomes Batman. But Commissioner Gordon's been like looked like a middle-aged man, and then suddenly he shaves his mustache off and he looks like my age, and he's like ripped. It is the strangest looking thing. I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. It was dumb.
Quality Autism says I only read all the Batman stuff from New 52. Was mostly good.
Batman and Robin was really good. That series. Batgirl was really good until Gail Simone left, and then it became garbage.
You know, to be honest, when it comes to DC Comics, I normally only read Batman.
Yeah, like, I stay with that too.
Normally, like when it comes to DC, like I like to go for like not necessarily like the series of comics, but more like the collected graphic novel editions of like one major story, like the death of Superman or Flashpoint, something like that. Let's see. Jumbo Joe says, funny you mentioned the Three Jokers thing. The first issue of Batman Three Jokers by Jeff Jones will be released in June after a few years of being, oh, nice. They're going to come out with it finally. Well, I'm kind of, and
I just think it's dumb.
yeah, there was actually someone had a fan theory that the Joker was actually Thomas Wayne's illegitimate, not Thomas Wayne's son. It's that Alfred and Martha Wayne had an affair, and and that's and then their son is the half brother of Bruce Wayne, and Alfred actually set up Joe Chill killing the Waynes because he wanted to be with Martha, but I don't know.
That's weird. I don't like it.
I don't either. But I do have a book here that I was going to show.
Yeah, let's see it. This is good off of this New 52 talk. Oh, yeah, I've seen it. Sure. Kevin J. Anderson, Matt Wilkins' favorite author. I like it a lot.
I'm really intrigued by this book. I've read like a chapter of it already, but it takes place in the 1950s. And that's the part that actually excited me the most. Like, you don't really see a lot of Batman and Superman stuff that takes place in the 50s. So
not anymore, no.
And I think, let's see.
That's Silver Age Batman too, if I'm not mistaken. It's not the violent when Batman carried a gun around Batman.
Yeah. And I think it's Alex Ross artwork.
Oh, probably.
Yeah, I do. And I'm reading this. I'm going to do a comparison video between the graphic novel and the novelization, but Nightfall.
Okay, there you go.
I just got to the point where Bane broke his back.
The breaking of the bat.
Yeah, it's different.
The breaking of the Fellowship, but not as dramatic. Actually,
what's up? I was going to say, what's up, Jacob Ayers? And let's see, Quality Autism says that Alfred theory sounds terrible, so it's going to happen in some comic.
And it'll be like Scott Snyder, and it's going to be like a horror arc.
Well, you see, I honestly thought that that's what they were going to go with, because in the comic, when he finds out who the Joker really is, he says that's not possible. So, and then he never says anything more about it. And so I was kind of wondering, like, maybe that kind of has some merit into it, because that's probably what would probably freak Batman out the most. But
Jimbo Joe, is it Dan Slott who wrote Superior Spider-Man that I've told you 1,000 times I hate as a person? Because he'll write Batman. I know it, and he'll write it terribly. Jimbo Joe has heard like hours upon hours of rants of me shitting on Dan Slott as like the worst Spider-Man writer ever.
I liked the Superior Spider-Man costume. I wasn't a fan of the story.
The thing is, Superior Spider-Man, they should have committed to it, and they didn't.
Mm-hmm.
And they brought Amazing back. Well, I don't like, because he had the misfortune. Part of this isn't his fault. He had the misfortune of following Straczynski's run, which is arguably the best Spider-Man comics run of all time. He had the 9/11 Spider-Man comic that like won awards.
Yeah, I have it.
He wrote the Civil War tie-in. He wrote the best Civil War tie-in. He wrote Back in Black. Oh, it's so much work of his. Like, they literally, when they released the hardcover versions of his run, they called it the best of Spider-Man. Like, they knew it was like good shit. And then Dan Slott's on there for like 10 years, and it's unbearable.
Let's see. Jimbo Joe says, yes, it was Dan Slott that wrote Superior Spider-Man. He better not touch Batman. And then, what's his name? Uzab?
Yeah.
Dan Slott wrote a great Batman in Arkham Asylum, Living Hell, and the Batman Adventures. I do want to read Batman Damned. I know that he probably didn't write that, but I love the art of that, and I love the Batman Noel type costume.
Batman Damned, that's the Black Label where they're trying to be Marvel Max.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Are you familiar with Marvel Max?
What is that?
NC-17 rated like Marvel comics. We talked about them, but we talked about Alias Max, where Luke Cage fucks Jessica Jones in the ass.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, it is. They're gnarly. Punisher Max is my favorite. It's Garth Ennis. They just let Garth. They didn't let him go full Garth Ennis because it'd just be a Crossed ripoff. Crossed is the nastiest comic I've ever read in my life, and I will never read more Crossed. That's saying something because I have a very strong stomach and a very desensitized to things. But there was so much disgusting bodily functions and rape and freaking mutilation and more rape. I couldn't handle it. It was like too much. But Punisher Max, he literally God, what is he there's an arc called Black Up is Down, Black is White, and this guy wants revenge on the Punisher for basically killing his like gang, and so he digs up his family, which are long dead. They're decades dead at this point, and he has a guy videotape him pissing on their remains. And Punisher goes into this blind rage of just going into gang clubs and machine gunning everyone down and just leaving one like gang member alive to tell them that they're coming to get him. It's so gnarly. It's the best Punisher comic I've ever read in my life.
That sounds like what Bane did to Batman in Justice League Doom. He digs up Bruce Wayne's parents' graves, and he disguises himself as like one of the people that helps with Bane's or helps with Bruce Wayne's yard work, and then Bane knocks out Bruce Wayne, and he shoves him into the coffin of his dead father, and buries Batman alive. And Bruce Wayne has to use his keys to punch through the coffin to dig out.
It's like Kill Bill Volume 2.
Let's see. I heard the more recent Batman, Quality Autumn says, I heard the more recent Batman Rebirth comics by Tom King are awful. Haven't read them, though. Then they said they're hit and miss. Batman Damned isn't that good. Okay, well, maybe I might just sit in Barnes & Noble one day and buy a coffee and then just read it there so that way they won't get mad at me.
Jimbo Jim.
If it helps, Nick Spencer's work on Amazing Spider-Man is great so far. Nick tries to go back to what made Spider-Man so good, even if it means going back to the basics when it comes to Spider-Man. Okay.
That's nice. It needed it. Spider-Man got a bit bogged down. As much as I like continuity, there was a lot of Zack Snyder. There's a lot that Dan Slott did with the character. And not all of it's bad. It's just a lot of it's like retread bad. Well, because JMS got told that he had to end his run, and he was like, he had this arc like where he had to Spider-Man had to sell his marriage to Mephisto in order to get May, and it was just like it basically felt like a reboot when we hit Dan Slott's run, which was already upsetting. But like he did a lot, but at the same time, it just wasn't good as like JMS's stuff. I don't know. It's better than the Clone Saga. I will say that, even though people love the Clone Saga.
I do have a couple of novelizations that I bought recently. I was going to show real quick.
Yeah,
and I think
before we hit my pile.
Well, I already showed you this and Matthew Wilson in the chat, but
yeah, I didn't know there was a novelization.
Yeah, I got it for like $4.
Credit for writing it, like the Independence Day one does.
I'm sorry, what?
Does it give Roland Emmerich credit for writing it?
It does, but it says based on the screenplay written by Roland Emmerich. And
okay, that's better.
Now, I was actually talking to Matthew Wilson about this. This book, this movie actually is actually canon to the Japanese Godzilla films.
Did you hear that huge thump?
I did.
I don't know what happened. Oh, it was the dogs.
Oh. But no, this movie is actually canon to the Japanese Godzilla films.
Oh yeah, because the monster has a cameo in Final Wars, right?
Yeah, the offspring that survived. Yeah, he
Zilla.
looks like Zilla. Yeah, that's and but they in one film movie they were like really. It was funny. Like there was this military briefing, and they said like, yeah, Godzilla died in the 1950s, but in the 90s, like another giant monster attacked New York City, and then there's these two guys whispering like, hey, the one that attacked New York was Godzilla, right? And there's like, that's what the American experts claim, but our guys here have doubts.
Yeah.
It's like I was like, way to be subtle there, Toho.
Yeah. I mean, like the 98 one isn't terrible. It's a bizarre movie. Every character is comic relief. It is just bizarre. I'd rather watch it over most of Roland Emmerich's films, though.
Godzilla.
Yeah, I'd rather watch it over Independence Day. Independence Day is one of the dumbest movies I've ever seen in my life.
I've only seen it once, and that was when I was a kid. But
Until I saw Independence Day Resurgence, and that was officially the dumbest thing. I was so embarrassed while watching that movie in the theater. Like it was like it's like when I saw the last two the Jurassic World movies. I was very embarrassed watching those. Or Rise of Skywalker, also embarrassed. I basically go to the movie theater to be embarrassed now. I don't think anything will top The Hobbit, The Battle of Five Armies.
You didn't like that one?
Oh my god, no. You have to understand I love Tolkien. And Tolkien rolled in his grave every time they made one of those Hobbit movies.
I actually saw the Tolkien movie with I can't remember his name, but the movie that they made about his life.
Yeah.
It was actually pretty good.
That's what I've heard.
I also got this Godzilla novelization.
Oh, I remember when they made that. Did they ever do one for King of the Monsters?
Yeah, they did. I actually ordered it. It's actually hard to find. Like, there's only like I called 2 half-price bookses in my city. None of them have it, and they had to. There's only like 2 stores in the whole, like in their other locations across the country that have it, and they had to have it shipped from Texas for me. But it was like $6 total, so it wasn't that big of a deal.
Quality Autism asks if wasn't Batman Damned the comic where you get to see Bruce's dong uncensored?
I don't know. The most graphic comic that I kind of skimmed through was a Game of Thrones comic, so you kind of expect there to be a lot of. Let's see, Uzab. You see the silhouette of it. Oh, okay.
Oh.
And yes, Jacob Ayers, I have played the Spider-Man game.
Not a whole lot because I don't own a PS4 anymore.
And it's actually one of the best versions of Spider. Yeah, I actually agree with that. I actually do like the
really fun game.
I like the story too, and
yeah, I like the side stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoyed it. It was like a better version of Arkham Knight because Arkham Knight's garbage.
Oh, you didn't care for Arkham Knight?
You mean Tank Simulator, the game? Yeah, no, I don't think Fighter when I think Batman.
There was parts of the game I didn't like, but overall, I like the overall story. I mean, I liked it mostly for biased reasons. I love the Scarecrow. He's my favorite Batman villain. And I just
much better in Arkham Asylum.
Yeah, I like that version of Scarecrow better. This one was just basically like a walking Grim Reaper type.
And he had a terrible voice.
Yeah, it wasn't even the same voice that made me mad.
He didn't even try.
No, I mean,
Commissioner Gordon had a different voice actor from Arkham Asylum.
Commissioner Gordon looks different in all 3 of those movies, and like it's understandable in Arkham Origins because he's younger, but I don't know. Let's see. Roland Emmerich only did one good thing, and that was Stargate, and it wasn't even the movie that was good. It was the show that was based off of it.
Okay, I will agree with that. I initially read that. I'm like, ooh, no. Matt Wilkins actually is a big fan of Stargate, the movie, as well as the series, I do believe. So I think there's a Princess of the Universe about it.
Oh, okay. I haven't actually seen it. The last movie I saw was Dragon Slayer by Matthew Wilson's recommendation, so it was a good movie. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's a fun one.
It is.
The dragon is so awesome until it flies. Oh, the early days of digital effects.
I'm surprised that Disney produced the movie that had nudity in it. So,
Well, it was them in Paramount.
okay, yeah. So they were probably.
Yeah, it's a PG movie, and you see full frontal.
Yeah, you do. It's like you see the guy and then like the butt of the girl, and I was just like, "This is a Disney movie? What?" The greatest directors from my country, Roland Emmerich, and who is that?
Well, he
Oh,
Far Cry movie and Alone in the Dark and House of the Dead and the Blood Rain movies.
okay. Oh, I've
They're
seen one
all,
of the Blood Red movies.
they're all fucking awful. That's the theme. And he is literally a giant asshole and will box critics. This fight box, like they get in a ring and put gloves on and they fight.
Oh, really?
That's a thing he does. I don't know if he does it anymore. I don't know if he makes movies anymore, to be honest. It'd be a better world if he didn't.
Jimbo Joe, I can't wait for the sequel either of Spider-Man PS4. I'm kind of intrigued where they're going with it, though.
I want them to port it to PC. I hate that Sony does these exclusives.
Oh, you did a PC version of it?
No, I want one.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to buy a PS5 at all. That's not something I want to do.
The only reason I would buy a PS5 is they said that there's a rumor that it's going to be backwards compatible with all the other PlayStations, like 2.
It won't. They say that every time they make a console, and they can't physically do it without it overheating. That's why the original PS3s, like all broke, is the PS2 portion like overheated it and got the yellow ring.
See, Jimbo Joe. Speaking of Batman Arkham stuff, another Arkham game is supposed to be announced. Yeah, I heard about too. Announced really soon for the PS5, Xbox Series X. Yeah, it's supposed to be called. I think the rumor is Arkham Legacy.
Ugh.
And it's you don't. I think it either is a prequel to one of the games, like maybe a sequel to Arkham Origins, a prequel to Arkham Asylum, or it's supposed to be about the Bat family after Batman, disappeared or whatever he did at the end of Arkham Knight, and you play as like Nightwing, Robin, Catwoman, and
Oracle. It's a wheelchair simulator. I love the DLC though, where you got to play as Batgirl. But I'm a huge Batgirl fan.
I did like that. I did like that too.
Only DLC I liked. The Harley Quinn one and the Red Hood ones were so lazy.
I was disappointed with the Robin one. I liked the
Robin one, to be honest. I stopped with the Batgirl because I got sick of the game.
The Robin DLC from Arkham City is better.
Is there? Yeah, there is. Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, the one in Arkham Knight is okay. It's just I like that Arkham City had more of a story to it.
Arkham City is the best. Arkham City I consider one of the best games of all time.
I love that game.
Yeah.
Let's see. Can we get Ball to remake Empire Strikes Back?
No.
Quality Autism said, and sorry, I missed your comment early. Quality Autism. Jacob Ayers says, "Can we get?" Oh no, Jacob Ayers said that. I'm sorry, not Quality Autism.
Jacob Ayers follows that up with Sony is not gonna port it to PC. Well, they're porting Death Stranded to PC, so anything's possible. The walking simulator that looks like utter shit. I'm gonna say this. Oh god, Kojima doesn't make video games. He just shoots his ego out. Video game.
Star Raptor, I think, is currently doing a live stream where they just released a virtual reality Walking Dead game.
Ugh.
I'd admit that'd be kind of scary, but maybe
leave Walking Dead alone. Just let it actually stop walking. Just be dead. The comic's done. Like, I don't care anymore. Like, Andrew Lincoln is literally not in the show anymore, and he was the protagonist.
I know he's getting spin-off movies of like what happens to him after that episode.
Good God.
Let's see. Sony, Jimbo Joe says Sony is porting Horizon New Dawn to PC, so you never know. Maybe Spider-Man PS4 will come to the PC.
It should. It would be the PC could handle the graphics better.
And Jacob Air says exclusives sell consoles, especially with the Marvel name on it. And
But the Avengers is getting a PC port. That's why I'm.
oh, it is.
Yes.
I keep forgetting about that game.
Yeah,
It looks
like it's Spider-Man Sony's baby. So they're gonna have their stupid Venom universe thing
yeah.
that no one cares about. No one cares about Venom and Tom Hardy,
I'd like a Venom game though. That'd be kind of cool.
the dude of 1,000 bad accents. Every movie he does, he puts on a terrible accent, so we don't know what he sounds like.
And Quality Autism says Bull stopped making movies because Germany changed some laws that he abused to get financing for his stuff.
Of course, he'd have to abuse laws to get like financing. No one's going to finance the House of the Dead movie. Do you have any more books to throw at me?
But no, not at the moment. Most of the books that I already showed you guys through the other live streams. So,
all right, shall we attempt to go through the pile?
Hope our people in the chat are comfy.
Yeah, it's gonna be a while. We're gonna start with, of course, Star Wars. Here, we're gonna start with my rarest one. I bought the first volume of Tales of the Jedi, one of the harder omnibuses to get. I bought volume 2, but when I bought it, it was a used library book, and half of Redemption was ripped out of it.
Oh my gosh, really?
Full climax gone. I had to take pictures, and they're like, "We'll give you a full refund. We're so sorry." So I have it here, but it's mangled. Like pages are falling out and shit. And that one's really hard to find. In fact, there's none on eBay right now.
Jeez.
Yeah, I was really, really upset the other day. Then I got another hardcover for Star Wars for my hardcover collection. Honor Among Thieves.
I want to read that. Yeah.
Read Racer's Edge first. That's the first one of this. It was called the Rebellion and Empire trilogy, but the third one never came out.
And this is between A New Hope and Empire, right?
Yes, they were very unnecessary sequels. They're the last couple books in the EU. But the third one actually did get made. Well, the title was ended up being made into a new canon book, and that was Heir to the Jedi, that we all hate.
I haven't. My wife read it. I haven't read that one.
Yeah, first person from Luke. Ugh.
She did tell me though that like A, Luke had a purple lightsaber in that one briefly, and B,
he took it apart to learn how to build lightsabers.
And he struggled with trying to move like a piece of food or something.
A noodle. And that was like a touching moment between his love interest and him.
Yeah, I did hear he had a potential love interest in that, and he never catches a break with his love interest in both canon and legends.
Oh, I mean Mara for a while.
Let's see. The Postal movie is the greatest game movie of all time. Jacob Air says.
There's a Postal movie? What?
And Ubal runs a restaurant. Jimbo Joe says Ubal runs a restaurant nowadays after he couldn't get funding for any new movie projects.
Dude, he poisons people just to be spiteful if he sees them.
Quality Autism says, so you're not excited for Morbius with Jared Hinka Honka Leto?
No.
I'll go see it. I'm just not really crazy about it.
Jared Leto only made one good movie. It's called Requiem for a Dream. That movie's gnarly. One of the freakiest things I've ever seen in my life. I was so shocked by it, I had to replay the movie and watch it a second time immediately because I'm like, it can't end like this.
In my second episode of my podcast, my cousin, who was my guest on that show, refuses to acknowledge Suicide Squad with Jared Leto as Joker.
Dude, I had to watch Suicide Squad twice because my ex loved it. So we saw it on the big screen, and I was like so horrified. Like I'm like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. And she's like, I want it on Blu-ray, so I bought the director's cut on Blu-ray, and I sat and I fell asleep 3 times. like watching it. Like it's just like I just like, and then I woke up and there's like flashbacks within flashbacks. It's like the later seasons of Highlander.
I'm not putting a coin in there.
Oh no, it's there's a character in that series that they killed him off, but he became a fan favorite. So they had to bring him back, but they brought him back in flashbacks, and then they would have flashbacks with that character within the flashback. It got so ridiculous. But that was played up kind of for laughs. Where this was just bad editing for this to happen.
Let's see. Ball to direct Indiana Jones 5.
Oh yeah, fucking Spielberg's not directing it.
Yeah, I heard that.
Irritated by this, and they got. I think it's the guy from Jurassic World who I think is the kiss of death for any sort of movie. He's just a bad director. It's the guy who directs the later Harry Potter movies.
See, Quality Autism, Jacob Ayers. I would watch that. Speaking, and Jimbo Joe says, speaking of Indy 5, the director of Logan and that Ford 5 Ferrari movie might direct Indiana Jones 5. Yeah, I heard that the guy from Logan would be directing that.
We don't need Harrison Ford as Indiana Jones.
Yeah, I'm okay with like finding someone else as long as it's not Shia LaBeouf.
I want. You know what? I would have been fine with that too. I would want a before Temple of Doom story.
Oh, like the young Indiana Jones stuff?
Yeah, like a sort of a bridging point from where the young Indiana Jones series left off. Actually, you know what I really want is for them to take one of the novelizations, the Bantam novels, and make that into a movie. That's what I want.
Yeah, I want to read those books.
Like make the Staff of Delhi into a movie.
I gotta find those books. I think that one of the bookstores up north of me has them, and I gotta go get them.
Dude, I can't find them anywhere. It's so frustrating. I found like some came into my work and I bought them all at once. Like I bought half the series in one go. Like they were just.
If I find them at that bookstore, I will probably buy them, but I will let you know where to find them. Like because they normally are pretty good about keeping new copies of stuff in, and I will let you know. And you can actually pay for them over the phone, and they can have them shipped to your house or something like that.
Good to know.
Let's see. Sorry, Ubal will be directing the
Thrawn.
The Thrawn trilogy as Danny DeVito as Thrawn.
Yes, and Gary Busey as Cybiok.
Quality Optim says Leto was good in American Psycho because he got killed by Bale. I didn't know.
Is he the one who gets axed to death?
I didn't know that was Bale or Jared Leto. Like, I don't really watch most of his stuff.
American Psycho's gnarly. I can't. The book's gnarlier, but like there are rats that are put in places in a human's body that they shouldn't be. And like someone gets their eyes burned off with a curling iron. It's like the eyelids.
Oh my gosh.
So nasty. My mom used to work at a B. Dalton, if you're familiar with that chain. They don't exist anymore, I don't think. But when American Psycho dropped, this would be like 88, 89, like that the novel came out. She like read part of it and was like mortified, and she like put them up on a high shelf because she didn't want kids reading them. Like it was like that gnarly to her. Gary
Busey should have been in the prequels. To be honest,
Busey should have been. Oh God, he should have been Poggle the Lesser.
I've only seen one
Ocean bad costume.
I've only seen one movie where I was 100% sure it was Gary Busey, and it was the Buddy Holly movie that he played Buddy Holly in.
Oh, I forgot he did that.
Yeah.
Well, Gary Busey used to not be crazy. He just wrecked his motorcycle and literally had to have his brain put back together.
Oh no, I didn't know that what happened to him. Like I've seen I've seen where they like on Family Guy or something they've made fun of him a couple of times. And I'm like, well, what happened to him? So
he literally died, and they put his brain back. They had to reconstruct like his face and stuff. It was fucking awful.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and he's like a complete drunk and stuff. Like I watched this movie where there was like a killer tiger, and he was like a cop hunting it, and there's a scene where he couldn't holster his gun, and they had to cut away. Because he was so drunk, and you could tell he was drunk through this whole movie. Before he went on Celebrity Rehab.
Jimmo Joe says there was a time when Gary Busey had a decent career.
There was, yeah, he was in The Firm, I think,
Scary Busey.
with Tom Cruise.
Oh, okay.
Busey in that.
What was the next book that you had?
The one I was telling you about, True Colors, one of my most asked for Star Wars books to review. I didn't get it hardcover because the hardcover for this was really rare. It's a Sci-Fi Book Club 2-in-1. I'll get it eventually when I find it for a reasonable price, not $150. And but it's a 2-in-1. It has this and Order 66.
I like the cover of it, but I was going to say that when you were kind of moving it towards your lamp, the green light was reflecting in your background.
Was it?
Yeah, like I just saw a green light kind of reflect in your background. Like you were holding it a little bit down a little bit.
That's okay.
You'll probably, you can see it when you.
And then the last Star Wars book, I want to throw this one out there. This is initially my first find of the day was Knight Errant.
Oh, nice. Is that Jason Solo?
No, that's Kara Holt.
Okay.
Actually, no, there's one more. My bad. The only Republic Commando book that did not get released in hardcover because they're probably going to do a 2-in-1, but Karen Travis never wrote the 6th book, and that is Imperial Commando 501st.
Nice.
Which ends on a cliffhanger that upsets the whole fan base.
You know what's weird? I'm honestly not interested in the Stormtrooper or the Clone Trooper stories arc for some reason. They seem like great characters, but I just never really got into them. Like I'm more interested right now in the ancient Sith Lords.
Okay, yeah, I go through phases like that, but no, I was always a fan of the clones and the Mandalorians, and that's what that series is basically about. And then Dave really fucked with it, and she threw a tantrum and got left.
Well, do you remember the PlayStation 2 of Battlefront 2?
Yeah.
Yeah, when my mom got me that for Christmas when I was a teenager, and I played a little bit of them. It's like wait, I have to play as the clone troopers or the stormtroopers. Like I want to play as the Jedi, at that age, and then like I had it and I was telling you guys in the chat about a class that that my roommates took in college where they studied religious themes in Star Wars, and he saw that I had that game, and that was part of his homework was to play that game, and he got so excited.
Yeah. Quality Ostism says Scary Busey.
Oh yeah, I saw that earlier. And Jacob Ayers says Gary Busey was born like 15 miles away from me. Oh wow.
Huh.
And a real local celebrity. Nice. We don't have a lot of celebrities out here in Oklahoma City. Like I know that Brad Pitt, I think, came from some town in Oklahoma. I can't remember where. And Garth Brooks is from Yukon, but
I mean, like, I don't have any celebrities I know of. Well, Radar from MASH used to live in my hometown, and I went to school with his kids. I think I've said that before in Geeks Addict, one of his hangouts, where I met him, and he did not want to talk about MASH. I was like, I barely remember it. Like, he would get really angry. That's why they never had a MASH reunion. He didn't want to be known as Radar because he was also Radar in the MASH movie. He was the only actor that came back for the series.
Oh, okay.
Which I find the series a lot better than the movie.
There was some other celebrity that came from Oklahoma that I can't not remember, and it's sad. I was going to mention Toby Keith, but I'm not a fan of him.
The only ones I can think of, Tom Selleck had property where I used to live. He didn't really come often. And the other one, Dean Koontz, for a couple years would, I don't know, he rented somewhere and he wrote some of his books. If you know who Dean Koontz is.
Yeah, he's an author. He wrote a Frankenstein book or something.
Yeah, he wrote Phantoms, was made into a movie. The Bad Place. He's like, I don't want to say knockoff Stephen King because he's kind of branched out from that, but he's a more approachable horror novelist. He also did the Odd Thomas books, which are kind of quirky and weird. He sees dead people and interacts with them. Elvis follows him around and stuff. It's really weird. They made it into a really bad movie that's on Netflix. That's where I'd say you should read if you're reading Dean Koontz. But I want to talk about my favorite horror author,
Go for it.
Stephen King, writing a fantasy book. This is a book that his daughter said, "Can you please not write horror for this book? I don't like scary things." So he wrote this fantasy epic called Eyes of the Dragon.
Oh, is that new or is it
Oh, this is from I'm looking up the publication date.
he's written so many books it's hard to keep up of when he wrote them.
87.
Oh, okay.
This is
That's
after drugs Stephen King. This is after the end of the cocaine and alcohol era Stephen King. But this version has some really interesting art in it, just sprinkled throughout.
it looks pretty cool.
Dark Tower books have this too.
The Dark Tower books have illustrations.
Yeah, certain printings of them. Yeah.
Let's see. Quality Autism said he read the first 3 Republic Commandos and got exhausted and hasn't read the last 2 books yet.
Yeah, it takes me. I read one every 2 or 3 years.
Jacob Air says Karen Travis is a Jedi hater, and it's like really obvious.
Yes, she is. All of her Jedi are either assholes or they are rogue Jedi. Like she writes about like Callistia and her sect of Jedi that get married and stuff. Like she fixed that continuity error in the Barbara Hambly books from Bantam, which is nice. But like her Jedi are like either rebels or they're like assholes.
And Jacob Air says she's like Mando's good, Jedi bad.
Yep, pretty much. The
Jimbo,
Mandalorians are like so. She wrote Legacy of the Force along with Aaron Alston and Troy Denning, and all of her stuff is like focused on the Mandalorians.
oh really?
Yeah, like Jaina gets trained by Boba Fett in that series.
Janice Solo?
Yes,
Oh, that's interesting.
in order to defeat Kaitis. That was the one
Oh,
that she had up her sleeve.
I saw a fan film where they had Janna go up against Kaitis.
Yeah, they take the last duel in Invincible.
Yeah, it's intriguing. I mean, I still want to read the book though.
Yeah, you get a lot more out of it. They actually have 2 duels in that.
Oh, really?
They have a brief confrontation where I won't spoil it. Actually, it's a cool.
Well, I was gonna ask for like maybe one spoiler. I mean, I'm not too big on. I know I get a good idea of like what happens in some of the stories, but does Kaitis get his arm cut off again, or get his arm cut off?
Yes.
Okay, because I'm like when they were doing that duel in the fan film, he always fight with one arm, and I think he's had like one arm like right here. I'm like, people in the Skywalker family, geez.
Jaina gets horribly burned in it with gas. They
Ooh.
they beat the unholy hell out of each other. It's why it's one of the best duels in like the EU.
Let's see. Jimbo Joe said, I heard about Stevens writing a fantasy book. That's a surprise. And Quality Autism said, yes, that's one of the many reasons why I find Legacy of the Force bad.
Yeah, well, the Karen Travis stuff is the weakest part because like she writes Revelations and like the main story ends and then you have an epilogue with the Mandalorians and it's like why?
I was going to mention I did buy a Star Wars book recently. It's Lucino's the Rise of Dark Lord of the Sith.
Yeah, the Rise of Darth Vader.
Rise of Darth Vader, yeah.
Rise of Darth Vader. Yeah, where Darth Vader doesn't show up for half the book. You're forewarned.
Oh, really?
No, because it wasn't supposed to be a Darth Vader book. It just as he wrote it. It's like this needs to have Vader in it. So it takes I think it's like 10 chapters in Vader shows up.
Oh, man, that's all right. Okay, I'll still read it, but I'm like, I liked what he did with Plagueis, and that's why I wanted to read it. So
it's very different from that. Or Plagueis is sort of like this is a tale that spans many years. It's more like if you ever read Labyrinth of Evil, you should read that before you read Dark Lord: The Rise of Darth Vader.
That one has Grievous in it, correct?
Yes, it talks about Grievous's origin, which contradicts Filoni's Clone Wars substantially.
Was there any other books that you were wanting?
Oh god, we haven't even scraped the surface, my friend. I picked up these 2. These are Stephen King books he wrote recently. This one is Joyland. Look at that cover.
That's interesting.
And then this is The Colorado Kid. I love these covers.
Yeah, they kind of have like
They're like old crime novels. They're in fact it's called Hard Case Crime is the publishing company.
like cult favorite type stuff.
Yeah, it's like pulpy stuff.
Uh-huh.
Like I was like, hell yeah. I need that.
No, I started the audiobook of The Shining.
Me too.
Really?
Weird. Yeah. No, I've been listening to that. I'm like,
Yeah,
15 chapters in?
is yours read by what's it, Cameron Scott?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's kind of bland sounding.
So far, yeah.
Yeah, it's not the greatest. Frank Mueller read Stephen King's books the best, but he got in a horrible motorcycle wreck and ended up brain dead.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, he did the first 4 Dark Tower books. Although they've re-recorded the first Dark Tower book, because he did like a director's cut of it where he added 100 pages, which is really good, and they did a new audiobook of it.
My wife may have read those. She read more of the Stephen King books than I have, so.
Yeah, where Stephen King, his trifecta of things I hate. Although I love the guy, there's 3 things he does in his books: eye gouging, spiders, and rape. They just show up so often.
I was kind of mentioning this in my podcast with Geeks Attic and about how horrible the book It is, and like I didn't even want to talk about how gruesome it is, and it's just I don't know if you know. Have you read It?
Oh yeah, I read It at the age of 13 or 14. I was about the kid's age in it, and it mangled. Well, first of all, I had never read a book where people cursed. That should so. Actually, no, I take that back. I read Skeleton Crew by Stephen King. This is short stories, and they curse in that. But I didn't understand some of it that was going on, like the when they're lost in the sewer and they all fuck the girl.
Yeah, that was horrible. I was like, I didn't even read it. Like my wife told me about that. I was like, ugh.
Oh yeah, they have. Well, they're trying to find Madrin the turtle, who's a demigod from the Dark Tower.
I know, like
It's
Pennywise is.
Yeah, Pennywise takes the form of the spider at the end, because even though we can't fathom the horror of Pennywise, the closest thing is, of course, a giant spider, because he's got to throw that in there to upset me.
I just felt like they could have just called the Ninja Turtles if it took place in the sewer to take care of Pennywise, since he obviously is afraid of turtles.
Yeah. Well, Madrin dies halfway through it. Yeah, that's why it's so dangerous for the adults when they go in the last time, is Madrin isn't protecting them.
Oh, okay.
And like that is a beam breaking in the Dark Tower. Like it's so convoluted, dude. It gets worse in the later Dark Tower books when Stephen King himself becomes a character.
Have you seen It Chapter 2?
No, because the adults part is dumb to me, and I like the kids part more, except for in the book the underage gangbang.
Yeah, they actually have a Easter egg about the turtle.
They had it in the first one too. He drops the Lego turtle.
Yeah, and then in the second one, I think it was like a turtle that was in like a classroom or something. I can't remember. I've only seen it once. So.
At least they tried.
I was just like, I kind of feel like they should have added it. I mean,
well, it doesn't make any sense in a movie standpoint because the turtle's floating around in space and it's massive.
Like, oh, really?
Yeah, that's a whole thing. That's a whole subplot of nonsense. It was literally Stephen King in a cocaine fueled, like living, like just the way he was, decided he wanted a monster mash. And he wanted the classic monsters all together, and he wrote it, and it's nonsense for like half of it. And then the other half is really good and some of the scariest stuff he's ever written.
Let's see. Quality Autism said that he also read It when he was around 14, 15, but had read Under the Dome before.
Oh my god, that is that's a 1,000-page book. I owned Under the Dome and never attempted to read it. It's so long.
Let's see. It Chapter 2 wasn't too bad, but compared to the first movie, it's not as good as the first installment. Also, I was hoping Pennywise Spider would be more creepy. Yeah, the I don't know if the Pennywise spider in the remake was stupid.
Was it better looking than in the made for TV one?
No, it was half of Pennywise's. It was Pennywise's upper half with spider legs.
So it was like a centaur.
Pretty much. Now, what I liked about it chapter, I mean, I didn't like this actually. It chapter 2 was just kind of predictable. It was like it showed this certain adult character, and then a flashback happened of each of their encounters with Pennywise.
Well,
That happened.
yeah, and it was it stuff that we had already seen before.
No, not some of it. No.
Okay, like stuff they cut from the first one.
Well, there's this scene with I can't even remember their names. It was the one. It was the one from the kid from Stranger Things.
Oh yeah.
It shows like a scene where he goes out into the park and Pennywise is following him, and like he's like got like hanging from balloons or something like that. And let's see.
Never liked with the new ones. He just stayed in clown form. Like that wasn't the point. Pennywise was the embodiment of their fears. Like he takes the form of a werewolf, a mummy. There's like a scene in the book where they're stuck in a water tower and there's all these dead children in there.
Oh,
like it's freaky stuff. Like that's like some good shit in there. Like
I will say this though, Bill Skarsgård did fantastic as Pennywise.
Oh yeah, no, I loved him, and I loved Tim Curry in the made for TV one.
Did you know he's our age?
Who?
Bill Skarsgård. He was like born in the late 80s.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, I'm younger than you, so.
Well, I think he was like born in like 90, I think 90, 91 or.
I was born in 94, so.
Oh, okay. I didn't know actually how old you were. So.
Oh yeah, no. Dylan was born in 95.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're the kids that look elderly.
Sorry if we don't get to all your comments, guys, but I'll try to get to as much of them as I can.
Good job, Adam.
So what?
You're doing a good job.
Thanks. The concept art for Pennywise Spider form in It Chapter 2 was more creepier than what we got. I haven't seen the concept art, but I'll take your word for it, Jimbo Joe.
Well, I mean, the concept art for Darth Maul is nightmarish, and George Lucas said it was too scary.
I wanted that. When I first saw this, like that would be more creepy.
Like Darth Maul as is, minus in high definition. When he takes his hood off, you can see the glue that horns onto his head.
I know you probably haven't played it, but the in Jedi Fallen Order.
Played it. I beat that game.
Oh, you have? Okay.
Yeah.
Dude, Dathomir is freaky, like with all the zombie witches and everything. And
yeah, I like pinballing them. When you get to a certain point, you're just unstoppable in that game. You start Force Unleashed nonsense, which I hate. Force Unleashed, by the way, is the worst game ever.
I played it. I played it like 2 or 3 times. I enjoyed it, and then I got bored with it easily. And
yeah, you can do like a speed run on it, especially in Force Unleashed 2. I beat that in 4 hours.
My roommate proved that you could beat most of the levels just by doing force push.
Ooh, a green light just flashed over here. It was my it's my phone doing that. It's not the book.
Oh, okay, that was it. I thought it was like the light reflecting off that book. But Quality Autism says, Under the Dome was my first real book. Weak ending, but interesting read. Have read all of King's work since then. And
right on.
And he also says Lucas also loved the design of Darth Talon.
Oh yes. Yeah, he had a fanboy crush on that.
I heard that Asajj Ventress was the original look for Darth Maul because they wanted Darth Maul to be a female.
Oh, that's weird. I've not heard that, but I can believe it. Want me to dip into the Aliens well?
Go for it.
This is the new Aliens book that came out like a few weeks ago.
I think I saw that somewhere. Yeah,
it's the first Aliens book ever in hardcover, by the way. That wasn't a movie novelization.
Nice. Have you read it yet?
No. I got burnt out. I was reading a lot of that alien stuff. I finished Sea of Sorrow, which was really weird. I'll save it for the review because it was kind of stupid in certain ways. Just the structure of it. But River of Pain, I started that and just didn't care. It's
Okay.
low. Um, so yeah.
Truth be told, I had to take a break from the second Darth Bane book because I've read so many Star Wars books, and I guess they were kind
Oh yeah, you're getting the fatigue.
so I just kind of wanted to take a break, and I started Shining last night while I was waiting for my groceries. And but once I couple of weeks, I'll probably finish the second one because I'm like halfway through it. So
Um, have you read The Outsider?
that's Stephen King, right?
Yes.
I have not.
Oh, dude, you need to listen to The Outsider. That's a great audiobook.
Is that the vampire book?
No, that is that's the one they're making. That you're thinking Salem's Lot.
Salem's Lot. That was it.
Was my absolute favorite Stephen King. But The Outsider it is really disturbing and it has more child assault.
I don't know if I want to read it then.
It is like it's weird. It's really weird, but I think it's the best book he's written in years. It's really long though.
Okay.
Not as long as Under the Dome. I shouldn't say that. Under the Dome is a fucking monstrosity. That's like reading Atlas Shrugged. Like it's an undertaking.
Rob D has joined. He says, "Hey guys, Jeremy, I think Marvel is going to get to releasing the Tales of the Jedi comic soon, an epic collection. The
Good.
the Dawn of the Jedi comics are being collected in Tales of the Jedi Volume 1." And then he says, "So 2 and 3 should be the Tales of the Jedi comics."
That would be so cool. I have Dawn of the Jedi digitally. Like I bought them for like 99 cents a piece, the single issues on Comixology. I've been reading those lately.
I have the Into the Void book.
Yeah, the comics are better. They're 2 years after Into the Void, but they have a better introduction to that era in them.
Yeah, I heard that the book was like a murder mystery or something.
It was basically very small galaxy stuff, although it has dark side alchemy in it, which is weird.
Hmm.
You know what else is weird?
What?
I bought a Star Trek book.
Whoa.
Motion picture novelization, which is written by Gene Roddenberry and Alan Dean Foster.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
Well, so Star Trek The Motion Picture is notorious because Gene Roddenberry wouldn't allow things to happen in it, and that's why it's so weird. It's the most that Gene Roddenberry intervened in a movie.
I feel bad for Star Trek because I'm not a fan of Star Trek, but I don't dislike it. It's more of like I just haven't paid much attention to it. There's an app on my Roku where you can get free movies and TV, but they're like really bad quality. And most of the Trek movies from like earlier on, I'm like, oh, that's kind of sad because, I mean, I'm not much of a fan of it, but I know that it's got a big following. So
Yeah, the motion picture. I'm in the minority. I think it's the best Star Trek movie ever made, and it has to do with the visuals of it. It is just a beautiful film. Jerry Goldsmith does one of his best scores I've ever heard.
I've seen the movies with what Chris Pine was in them, right?
Oh, the later ones. Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
When J.J. Abrams and Alex Kurtzman ruined Star Trek.
Those are the only ones that I saw, and
Oh, you need to actually watch Trek.
okay.
Trek is a very different beast than Star Wars. It was never meant to be Star Wars. Unfortunately, they've decided that that's the case. Like that's why fans and Star Wars fans are so different. It's like they're very different shows.
Well, yeah, because doesn't it Star Trek? To my understanding, if I'm wrong, sorry guys. It takes place in a futuristic Earth, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, and then Star Wars is like in another galaxy, and
Oh yeah, Star Trek is science fiction and Star Wars is science fantasy. That's the best way to they're very different.
I'm gonna try to. Jacob Air says, "Man, Legacy was so good." Quality Autism says, "The Outsider first half great. When Holly shows up, it goes downhill."
I liked Holly as a character. Thought she was a weirdo and like really quirky and stuff, and she has a good arc in my opinion.
Let's see. Jimbo Joe said he heard that Stephen King's The Outsider got turned into a TV show for HBO. Well, if it's as bad as, if it's like as gruesome and vulgar as you were explaining, then that's probably where.
Yeah.
Let's see. My boy
Crook.
Okay, was turning into the EU version of Yoda.
Yes, he was in Legacy. That's for sure.
And let's see. I still need to watch the rest of Jimbo Joe. I still need to watch the Star Trek TOS and Star Trek TNG. I'm not sure what those are.
TOS is the original series, and TNG is the next generation.
Oh, okay. Like I said, I'm on season 2 for the original series, and I'm on season 5 for the next generation.
So you're into the good stuff with TNG, Jimbo Joe. First 2 seasons of TNG are very rough to get through.
Dude, I do know that one of my best friends, his uncle owns a book/comic shop that's kind of like a hole in the wall in Oklahoma, and like in a town outside of Oklahoma City. But he had a lot of Star Trek books, and I mean a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see. Jacob Ayers says Deep Space Nine is the best Star Trek in his opinion. And Rob D, have you guys read Batman Year One? Yes, I have. I have it.
I have too. It's one of my favorites.
I do like Batman Year One. I recently read it through Amazon Prime Reading. I love the art style. Yeah, I loved it too. And then I read The Long Halloween, which I think takes place like a year after it, right?
Something like that. I always consider the Frank Miller stuff a different universe.
Mm-hmm. I do know that they got a lot of inspiration for Frank Miller stuff in the Christian Bale series.
Yeah. Bad. Well, I mean, Dark Knight is just The Long Halloween, pretty much, in a lot of respects. But no, the Frank Miller Bat universe is Year One, Batman Spawn, All-Star Batman and Robin, Dark Knight Returns, Dark Knight Strikes Again, and Dark Knight 3: The Master Race.
I did like the Dark Knight Returns animated movie that they
do. And I really liked when the Blu-ray release they combined the 2 parts together.
I did too, because I didn't like that they like sold them separately. I'm just like, come on, guys. But
we missed a question.
Oh, what was that?
There's from Quality Autism. Have you read King's The Stand? That one is 17,000 pages long, at least the German edition. So The Stand has 2 versions. The first one wasn't that long. King went back and added another 400 pages. And yes, The Stand has a great beginning when everyone's dying of Captain Trips. But when it gets into the good and evil stuff, it like becomes drawn out and awful. Also, there is a disabled man that gets a shotgun shoved up his ass.
Oh no!
Those are like the few things I remember from The Stand.
It's funny that Quality Autism mentioned that, because I mentioned earlier that I had a friend over for dinner with me and my wife, and she loves that book, and she keeps telling me that I need to just dive into it. And actually, I bought that book. I have the audio book of that. I just bought it recently.
The Stand?
Yeah.
I mean, it's considered his greatest work. I just think it's really drawn out. It's like his magnum opus, and it's really long. They reference it in the 4th Dark Tower book. They end up in that world for a short period of time.
I'm kind of interested to see how long it is in audiobook. Let's see. It is
46 hours?
47 hours and 47 minutes. So it's 2 days.
Yeah. Let's see. Quality Autism asks, have you read King's feminist Drek, Sleeping Beauties? He wrote it with his son Owen. I bought it when it came out. Like, I had a sci-fi book club membership at the time, and I bought it, and I never read it.
I think my wife may have read it. She talked about it one time, so maybe. I have so many books, like, and 90% of them are my wife's. Like, I have a bookshelf over there that's like mostly all my stuff.
I thought that when you said that, I thought it was like, oh, my wife wrote all these.
Oh, no, she's a writer. I mean, I got a couple of her books over there, but yeah, most of like what she has is like Aragon and like classics and everything. So
Remember the Aragon movie?
so what?
Remember the Aragon movie?
Haven't seen it.
It's awful. Even with
Uh,
Jeremy Irons in it, it's really awful. And it's completely confusing. It doesn't make any sense at all. I mean,
she told me that she read all the Aragon books, and then when the last one came out, she was just like, "Yeah, I'm done. I'm good." And
I always meant to read them, and I never did.
I'm kind of picky when it comes to like fantasy type stuff, I guess.
Well, I was a kid when they came out. Like, I remember, like, they were a big deal.
Yeah, it's just like I didn't see any of the Lord of the Rings movies until I was an adult. So, because like I said, I'm picky on the fantasy type stuff. I'm more science fiction, I guess. I don't know, that's
I get
me.
that. Speaking of fantasy, do we want to hit the Dragonlance books
Do it.
that consist of the rest of this pile? So I'm going to go through these pretty quickly. I love Dragonlance. People know, long subscribers of this channel know that. Dragonlance reviews are coming back this summer. Don't worry. But Dragonlance are kind of hard to get now. You basically can't buy them new because they're kind of a forgotten Dungeons and Dragons property. But I'm just going to show these randomly. This is Stone and Steel, The Meeting of the Sextus, Book 5. This is like the prequel series they did to the original trilogy of them. This is Book 3, Dark Heart, same series.
The covers look pretty cool.
Oh yeah, no, this is back when Dungeons and Dragons like stuff got the best covers. This is Book 2. This is Wanderlust.
Nice.
Yeah.
Hey, while you're showing them, can I grab a couple of books that I was going to show?
Yeah.
You're right back.
This is a reprint cover here. This is from the Preludes, the first Prelude series. This is volume 5, Flint the King. The original cover of this, like I was at a used bookstore, but this has like never been read. The original cover for this I thought was stupid, but that's more of what the Dragonlance book started to look like in the 2000s and stuff. This is from The Lost Histories. This is volume 3. The Darganesti. These are like CLs. They did all these histories and stuff. It was so interesting. They built this campaign setting and no one liked it. This is the infamous one. This is the Vector Prime of Dragonlance. This is the second generation. This was the direct sequel to the first 2 trilogies. They wrote a single book, and then they wrote a book 4 to the first trilogy, making it a quadrilogy like a decade later. I'll save that one for later because that's not Dragonlance. This is Preludes 2. There were 2 different Prelude series. This is Tanis the Shadow Years.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
It definitely has that like that 80s fantasy movie vibe to it.
Yeah. This is from the first Preludes. No, this is from the Is this the second Preludes? Yeah, it is. This is Kendermore.
These are like really cool covers.
Oh yeah, no, I've always been drawn to these. My mom was really into Dragonlance. This is Downfall, the Damen Saga, Volume 1. This is a more recent one.
Cool.
Probably from 2000s.
Bye, Jimbo Joe. He says he's gonna
later, dude. It's good to see you.
Yeah, thanks for joining.
From the Heroes series, Weasel's Luck. I like that one.
Kind of reminds me of Sleepy Hollow, just from this angle.
A little bit, yeah. All the muck.
Yeah.
Then also from the Heroes. This is Heroes 2. I forgot there's 2 different Heroes series. This is Galen Birknighted.
That's a really cool cover. I like that.
Then from the Villains series, Hedrick the Theocrat. He's a villain in the first novel, so it's like his backstory.
Okay.
Then this is from Tales Volume 2. This is Kender, Gully Dwarves, and Gnomes. The Tales were just to establish like different races of people on Kryn.
Are those girls naked?
No, they're wearing loincloths.
Oh, okay. From here, it looks like they're naked.
Oh no. No, there's some leopard print on there. Leopard print on that booty. Then we have Heroes. This is Stormblade.
Oh, that's cool.
And then we have from one of the last trilogies. These were the Lost Chronicles. They were basically in between stories for the first trilogy. This is Dragons of High Lord Skies. I actually met, this is from the original two writers. This is Margaret Weiss and Tracy Hickman. I met Margaret Weiss in real life.
I like Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I met Margaret Weiss at Gen Con and got to talk to her. She wrote a Star Wars book that was never.
Shit.
Yeah, and she doesn't like talking about it. I found that out the hard way.
Oh, she like say, "Don't bring that up, please." Or
She went on this rant about Lucasfilm and how badly she was treated.
oh no,
She wrote in the Bantam era too.
Bantam. Remind me.
Thrawn trilogy, Shadows
Yes.
of the Empire, that
Yes.
era. She wrote in the early days, where she was supposed to write a sequel to Kenneth C. Flint's novel Heart of the Jedi, which has been released as like a fan project recently.
Mm-hmm.
I say recently; it was like 5 years ago now.
Within the decade, you know. Go
Two
ahead.
book. Actually, why don't you show a couple more?
Well, my favorite author is Steve Alton. Have you heard of him?
I have not.
Okay, you remember that movie that came out with Jason Statham, the Megalodon movie?
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, you talked to me about this guy before. Yeah.
yeah, I would recommend reading the novel. It's really good. Like, I love the series, and I don't have them all with me, but I have a few of them. But this is my all-time favorite book of his. It's The Lock.
Yeah, it's about the Loch Ness monster. You pitched this to me.
Yeah, it's really good. It's got kind of like elements of like monster, like it explains. Okay, what's funny is they did a study to kind of conclude what the real Loch Ness monster is recently, and he actually predicted it in this book, and he was right.
Oh, that's funny.
I could go ahead and let you know what it is, but I mean, I don't want to spoil it for you if you're going to read it.
Don't. Don't.
Don't spoil it.
Don't spoil it.
Okay, I won't. But it's a really good book. It's got like this epic courtroom scene because it's about this marine biologist who he almost drowns in the Sargasso Sea.
Hmm.
And this kind of ties into the legend of the bloop. I don't know if you've heard of that.
Mm-mm.
Well, there's like it's like a cryptozoic type thing where or like a mystery of the world where there's like this large like marine creature in the ocean, and it's like it's been only been described as a bloop on a sonar. I think if I'm butchering this description, guys in the comments and you know about it, I'm sorry, but it's a really good book. But this guy almost drowns, and he has a fear of the water, and he has some connection to Loch Ness, and it's really good. I loved it. I couldn't put it down.
Hmm.
And he made a sequel to it, and I won't called Vostok.
Hmm.
This takes place in Antarctica, and that's like a quality autism. Didn't Steve write a 2012 Mayan trilogy? I was interested in those. Yeah, he did actually. He writes a lot of cryptozoic or mysteries of the world type things. He wrote a book about recently about UFO sightings and, like I said, the Loch Ness monster. And he also wrote one that I've been wanting to read, but I heard it's like too political, and it's called The Grim Reaper.
Hmm.
It's about this guy. It's a baseball player. He wakes up and he has like one arm for some reason, and he starts hallucinating the Grim Reaper everywhere around him. But yeah. Oh, and of course, yeah. There's this is one of the series in the Meg trilogies.
Oh, it's a series.
Yeah, it's a series. It has. Let's see. I just finished it. It's got, I think, 5 to 6 books in it.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's really good. I recommend it. But out of all of those, if you just want to kind of give the author a shot, I'd recommend The Lock.
Okay, good to know. All right. I got a weird one for you. Did you know there were Doom books based on the first person shooter?
Mm-mm. Oh, Doom, Duke. I'm sorry. I thought I heard you say Duke Nukem, like that video game, or
There's a comic book based on Duke Nukem Forever. That's terrible.
okay, but no, I didn't know about Doom.
This is book 4. This is Endgame.
Oh,
I
that's
found this at a used bookstore. It's like never been read. I'm like, this is awesome. But no, they did 4 novels that were about the first 2 Doom games, and then they did 2 novels about Doom 3 and Resurrection of Evil.
nice.
They're getting reprinted because Doom Eternal's coming out, but I like those classic covers.
If you ever come to Oklahoma, like let me know because there's this bookstore I want to take you to. It's a very small bookstore and it's very crowded, but they have so much books because they allow donations of books. And like if you buy like one, say if you bought like a sci-fi or a fantasy book, they're like, oh, if you like this, then you'll like all of these paperbacks. Like they just try to just give you like all these free books just to get rid of them.
That's funny.
I don't know if they still do that, but when I lived in that town, they did, and like they had like so much Stephen King books. They had everything. Rob D, aren't there Doom comics too?
If there are, I'm not familiar with them.
I don't know either. I just now finding out about this. So
This spawned me because people have been asking me if I've read the Resident Evil books. So I picked up the first one. This is Steve Perry's, either his wife or daughter wrote these
now, is that like a novelization?
of the games. Yes.
I didn't know if the book started or the game started.
There are, I think, 7 of these now.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if they still make them. They're reprinting them, though. Because since Resident Evil 2 came out, they redid the remake of that, and Resident Evil 3 remake's coming out.
Mm-hmm.
It's so weird. They're remaking those 2 games in like the new style, like of 4 and stuff. But see ya, quality autism. But like they don't remake like Resident Evil the Survivor, the first person shooter one, before Resident Evil 7 came out. Have you ever played that?
Resident Evil 7, no.
Resident Evil 7 was just called Resident Evil, and it was like a clone of Amnesia. It's bad. It's not scary at all, and it's just really annoying.
Resident Evil was actually my introduction into zombies. It terrified me as a kid.
Oh, right on. Mine was accidentally watching Night of the Living Dead at too young of an age.
My brother played Resident Evil 2, I think, on PS1.
Okay.
With Leon in the police station.
Yeah, that's 2.
Yeah, like I saw that like weird red demon thing crawling on the walls. I'm like,
yeah, those are awful.
I know.
That's a game where you're like, you want to kill everything, but because like the later Resident Evil games have taught you to mow everything down, but in those games you just have to run away from things.
Yeah, my roommate played those in college, and like I'd just be in my room like studying and everything, and I would just hear him like yelling at the top of his lungs, like when those zombie dogs jumped out of nowhere. He'd be like, "Mother!" I'm just like,
yeah, no, they're the worst. Or in Resident Evil 4, there's the chainsaw guys.
Oh yeah, I saw videos of them.
Yeah, where you're like, when you first encounter them, you find a shotgun, and that's like the only reason you'll survive.
Yeah, I did see that if you get too close to them, like they decapitate you or something.
Yeah, 1-hit kills.
Ooh.
And then there's later on in the game, there's these guys that carry miniguns around. They're so irritating.
I've only played like one Resident Evil game. Like the rest, I just kind of watched other people play. I can't remember which one it was though. I think it was 6.
Yeah, 6 is fucking bad.
Yeah, you play as Chris Redfield, I think.
5 and 6, you both play as Chris. Yeah,
and you team up with some girl, I think.
Oh yeah, it was in South Africa.
Yes.
Yeah, that's 5. 5 becomes an awful cover shooter that doesn't really function as a cover shooter after a while. They just give the zombies guns, like AKs.
Oh my gosh.
In like the third the last third of the game. You're
Uh,
fighting Wesker, and he turns into a big monster, and then you have to like load up an RPG, and it takes both of you to do it for some reason. Even though in the fourth game Leon could just carry one around at all times,
that's hilarious.
so contrived and annoying.
Rob D says, I feel like every video game franchise has novels and comics as well. Halo, Gears of War, Mass Effect, Dishonored, Doom, and even Anthem has one comic. Yeah, they even had novelizations for Arkham Knight. Like they had like a novelization about the Riddler and everything.
They also have them for Assassin's Creed is a big one.
I want to play the first Assassin's Creed, but I gave my
clunky. You're forewarned when you play it. 2 is the best one. 2 is the only one they actually fix problems with the game. They just stopped caring after 2, and they just made one every year.
There's one Assassin's Creed game. I saw the video of this where there's an Easter egg where you can resurrect the Headless Horseman of Sleepy Hollow.
In which one?
I can't remember which one it was. Let me look it up real quick. But yeah, like I saw the video. You can actually resurrect the head. Like you're in New York and you're at the part where Sleepy Hollow is, and you can actually resurrect the Headless Horseman.
Or it could be Unity or Syndicate. Those are also in.
Let's see, Assassin's Creed. Okay, here it is. It is Unity.
Unity's garbage.
Oh, really?
It was really buggy and awful. No, the Assassin's Creed games, they should have stopped with 3. Because, well, they wasn't, like, in order to get to 3, you had a PSP game called Bloodlines, which sucked. You had Brotherhood, which was just made so you could have multiplayer.
Wasn't there a pirate one?
Yeah, that's 4.
Oh, okay.
4 is awful. 4 is only good if you're just taking the ship around.
Just like driving around, just sailing across the water.
Yeah, you can sail through, like, across the sea and board people and kill them all and take their ships. I eventually had like a fleet of pirate ships because I just did that for 2 days straight. I just took ships and sunk other ships because it's the only fun thing in the game. The story is so contrived and dumb.
Have you ever played Spider-Man Web of Shadows?
No.
There's like this part of the game where you can collect like gold or like spider emblems across the city. And normally you would think like if you collected enough, you'd get like an achievement or an award or something like that. No. There's no point in collecting them.
Do they unlock content?
So what? No, it doesn't do anything. I think it just like maybe gives you like a level up or something like that, but or it helps boost. But other than that, it has no purpose other than like, hey, if you're bored, you want to just swing around and collect these things.
It's so stupid.
Let's see. Rob D, has Resident Evil 4 been ported to everything yet?
It has not been ported to the DS.
And Unity was one of the many disappointments of the 2014 in video games. 2014 in video games.
Yeah, that was really bad. It was broken, Adam. Like it literally had game-breaking glitches in it. It had to be fixed with software updates. That's bad. It had one of the worst launches of all, like, ever.
Yeah, recently they did a software update for Fallen Order because I think there was like a trophy or achievement glitch that they had to fix.
So,
yeah,
that's surprising. Jedi Fallen Order, I got hit with something on Zepho, and I got thrown up on top of a mountain. And like, no, it was the strangest thing. I don't know. I should have screen captured it. It was bizarre. I fell through the mountain.
I did that too.
Okay. It's fucking awful. And I didn't die.
There was yeah, I didn't either. There was like this chest that I was trying to get. It's like when you take one of those elevators from the temples, and I was gonna go get this chest and I jumped towards it and I just went and I just kept falling into oblivion like for eternity.
It's so terrible.
It's like Loki from Avengers Infinity War. He's saying like, I was falling for 30 minutes.
Or what's another good have you ever played Tomb Raider Angel of Darkness?
I played a demo of Tomb Raider. I'm not sure which one it was though.
Angel of Darkness is like considered the worst one, and it is buggy and glitchy. It was supposed to be an RPG, but then they gave up on that. So like there's leveling up mechanics for no reason. But if you are falling to your death, it is better to pause and restart because it takes less time to load. But Laura Croft will spam her scream in the pause menu.
She will.
Yeah, it's if you do that every time, it's awful.
I think that was one of those games where I wasn't allowed to play them for some reason.
Probably because she was overly sexualized.
That's probably why.
Yeah.
Are you done with all of your books, or?
Yeah, I'm done pretty much.
Oh wow. We should like ask the people in the chat like if they have like let's do like maybe do a Q&A or something.
We got one viewer, so
Is it Rob D?
it might be Rob D. Rob D, throw a couple questions at us before we go. Come on.
But with Spider-Man Web of Shadows, I liked it's like they were trying to go with the zombie apocalypse thing and like have zombie like symbiotes.
Yeah, okay, I remember this game.
And you can switch between regular suit or black suit. I liked it because the black suit tricks were pretty boss.
I vaguely remember this game. It's like really hard to find on PC.
Oh, PC?
Yeah, it doesn't exist to like download. You have to buy a disc. It's like a $200 PC game or some nonsense.
I had to buy my version from GameStop, and it was really expensive. I'm like, it's not the greatest game, so why would it be that much? It's probably because Spider-Man games are actually like because of the whole movie nonsense. I'm assuming is because of how expensive these games are. But I did actually.
They're very collectible for some reason. All the Spider-Man games are very collectible, unless it's the Amazing Spider-Man games. Those aren't.
I did enjoy the first one though. The second one was bad.
Game or the movie?
The game. I liked. I don't know. I like the Amazing Spider-Man game story better than I like the movie story. Rob D asks, should I read Old Republic Annihilation or Shadows of the Empire next?
You should read Shadows of the Empire and listen to the Old Republic Annihilation audiobook.
Annihilation, is that
with the Ascendant Spear?
Okay. That was like one of the first Old Republic books or something?
That was the last one.
Oh, the last one, okay.
I'm pretty sure. It's the last one in chronological order. It's my favorite of them. Shadows of the Empire.
Yeah, Shadows of the Empire. I don't know if that was like the first Legends book I ever read, and I'm like, I started with the most erotic of Star Wars books.
Is it though?
Well, of all that I've read, then.
Oh yeah. Did you ever play the Batman Begins game? I forgot that was a game. No,
I did. It was. I didn't have a lot of Batman games on PS2. I did play the Batman Begins game.
There aren't a lot of Batman games for PS2.
They have like Rise of Sinzu, which ties into the animated series, and
it ties into Batman the animated series or the Batman. The Batman animated series.
Oh, where it's like it's like a sequel to the like or later like Bruce's, like it has Tim Drake Robin and everything in it.
I think so. Or no, it was a reboot series.
Oh no! I know what you're talking about now.
The Adventures of Batman and Robin.
Yeah, it was the the Rise of Sensu ties into the Batman animated series, or the Adventures of Batman and Robin. But I can't. It doesn't tie into the Batman though. I do know what you're talking about though.
Yeah, the Batman's pretty bad.
Yeah, it was.
Joker has like this nightmare look. I don't like it.
He looked like a.
He talks like this. pretty
They
awesome.
also made a movie where he fights Dracula, and
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
yeah, and I was like, and it was just, ugh, I don't know. I feel like if they're gonna make a video, they made a comic where he fights Dracula, and
Not surprising.
it's an Elseworld comic, and it's weird. I actually like reading the Elseworlds type stuff more
Oh,
than.
yeah, there's some good shit in there. Yeah.
Yes, there was. I think there was also Batman Vengeance. Yes, there was. I haven't played it. And Batman Dark Tomorrow. Terrible game. Yeah, it was on Xbox, I think. Batman Dark Tomorrow. Oh my gosh. That game is so horribly bad.
I've never heard of either of these.
Okay, if you just want a good laugh, YouTube a playthrough of Batman Dark Tomorrow. That game is like so bad. Like you'd think that it would be good, but it's because it's the voice acting is appalling and it's
I mean, the Batman game I think of bad Batman games that isn't Arkham Knight is Batman Forever for the Super Nintendo.
I remember that.
Awful.
Oh my gosh, that is so horrible. I do have Batman Returns for Super Nintendo.
It's so. Oh, Batman Returns. Yeah.
It wasn't that great either, but it was. I
It's
never beat it as a kid. So what?
Batman Returns on Super Nintendo. That one was the beat 'em up one, right?
Yeah, it was just like punch, punch, jab.
Yeah, it's kind of boring. The Batman for NES is pretty good.
Hmm.
The Ninja Gaiden clone.
The Ninja Gaiden clone.
Yeah, it controls like a lot like Ninja Gaiden, in my opinion.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like original Ninja Gaiden, not the remakes of Ninja Gaiden for the PS3.
I played Ninja Gaiden 2, I think.
Those games are so hard.
I know, like when my roommate introduced me to them, he's like, I'm going to let you know, Adam, these games hate you. They hate you. They hate everything you stand for. And you might think that you have beaten all the villains. And then you'll take 2 steps and find out you have like 600 other villains that are coming your way.
And it's like one hit kill.
Yeah.
But those games were the original cutscenes. Some of the first cutscenes ever in video games.
Let's see. What's the hardest game you've ever played?
Something on NES. Definitely. Contra's pretty hard.
Hardest game I ever played. Geez.
Castlevania 3 Dracula's Curse is unbearably hard. Or Dracula X.
The hardest game is not really that hard that I played. I played I'm gonna say that the hardest games, it's not hard at all, but out of all the games that I do have, I was gonna say it's probably the hardest, and that was uh Lords of Shadow Castlevania.
Oh, yeah, the awful
The
God
one with
clones.
yeah,
Yeah.
the reboot of Dracula's Origin.
Yeah.
Those
I
are,
got that far in them because I found them bland.
yeah, I enjoyed them, and I was like, I never played a Castlevania game, and I wanted to, but actually, I think the hardest game I ever played was like a Super Nintendo game, but I cannot remember what it is.
Super Star Wars?
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Okay, that's the hardest. Yeah, I would. Oh my god.
Hardest game I ever played was Super Empire Strikes Back. I haven't even beat it yet.
And then we went from that to Jedi Fallen Order, one of the easiest games ever.
Yeah.
That is the dumbest boss I've ever played in a game.
Who?
Marikos, the
Oh,
dark guy.
yeah. That.
He's not even as hard as the final boss.
No, I mean the Trilla was actually harder.
Well, yeah, Trilla's irritating. Trilla, first half of that fight is like a cakewalk. You just
Mm-hmm.
beat her up, just beat her up and beat her up, and then suddenly she starts throwing flashbangs at you, and then it becomes really irritating.
Yeah, I liked how like incredibly difficult she was at first, but then like it doesn't matter. Like right as soon as you get to that point, and then like and Darth Vader comes out, he's just like goodbye, just slices her in half.
I wanted them to all die at Vader's hands.
Some people that I saw reactions to Vader coming out at the end. Some people thought that that's what was going to happen, is that Vader killed all of them.
That's how it should be.
Do you guys like war films? Vietnam, WW2, Modern Warfare?
Yes, not so much modern ones. Go on.
I haven't seen a lot of them. I've seen half of Full Metal Jacket.
First half?
Yeah, I want to finish it, but I fell asleep.
Second half's not as good.
I heard that like the best half is like with Sergeant Gunray or something like that.
Yeah, when they're in boot camp, it is a lot more interesting than when they actually go into Vietnam. It kind of goes really weird directions.
I've seen Glory with Matthew Broderick. That was pretty good.
Oh God, I forgot that was a movie.
Yeah, it was during the Civil War.
Yes.
Let's see. I like The Patriot.
I don't like The Patriot at all.
You don't like it at all?
It is just Braveheart, but Roland Emmerich decided he had to remake Braveheart with Mel Gibson again, but make it about America.
Let's see. I've seen Save It Private Ryan. That was pretty good.
Yes.
What's it? My wife wants to go see 1917. I heard that was pretty good.
That's what I've been told as well. I've not seen it. I'm a big fan of Platoon. Platoon is my favorite Vietnam movie. World War II. I mean, Band of Brothers, but that's a mini series.
I've also seen Forrest Gump.
Yeah, that's also a good Vietnam, even though that's not the point.
Yeah, I know.
Longest Day with John Wayne. I like that, but I saw that as a child, and I was a big John Wayne fan when I was a little kid. Patton's pretty good. Born on the 4th of July, but that's not so much a war film. It's about post-traumatic stress.
That's Tom Cruise, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
He gets horribly injured in Vietnam and comes back, and he has to deal with the VA. And he can't use his legs. It's really sad.
Yeah, that's the those I think are the only war movies that I've seen.
I hated The Hurt Locker.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, I didn't understand why it won Best Picture.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Pearl Harbor. Pearl Harbor was awful. It was is when Michael Bay thought he could make a sequel to Titanic. It's a movie, but with dumb people.
Let's see. Rob D says 19-17 is very good, but if you're looking for WW1 action, you'll be disappointed.
Watch Gallipoli with Mel Gibson. Is one of his first films. That's really good.
I was gonna say, did you know that the original idea for Jaws 2 was gonna be a war film?
What?
It was gonna be Quint in the Navy. You know how he was on the USS Indianapolis and it sank and the survivors got attacked by sharks?
Oh.
That was going to be the setup for Jaws 2.
The sharks. The way he says sharks it's almost as funny as, have you ever seen The Departed?
Mm-mm.
Okay. So they're so Boston in that, it's disgusting. It's like one of the most overrated movies of all time. But freaking they can't say microprocessors, they call them microprocessors.
I actually did
processors.
I was in a drama class in high school and our assignment was to recite a monologue, and I did Quint's monologue from Jaws.
Have you ever watched the Whitest Kids You Know sketch where they make fun of that? Oh God. It's just Trevor, one of the main guys on there, talking about the sharks, and the camera keeps zooming in on this chick's crotch. So stupid. And then it cuts to everyone was just staring up her skirt.
I did have to do I did Quint's accent though, or like, and I just kind of used the act. Me and my brother would make fun of that sometimes. Like he's like, "There's like, you go into the water, chief. You know, sharks in the water. You know." That was actually kind of fun, but yeah. It was, and then the other idea for Jaws 2 was supposed to be a like where the shark attacks have left Amity Island, like a a ghost town. Like no stores were open, like there's no businesses open, and like the city was just trying to survive. And it was just like, and then another shark comes up or something.
That's kind of bland.
Yeah,
I like what they did with Jaws too. It's just like a slasher. Well, it was
yeah,
in that era too.
yeah. And they made the shark a little bit look a little bit more monstrous in the movie poster.
Yeah, it was just Jaws with more gore,
I think there was a Superman comic where he fights Jaws.
probably. I mean, the Avengers fought Godzilla, so anything's possible.
I think Superman fought a Loch Ness monster ripoff.
He fought the aliens in Superman versus Aliens. He
Yeah.
actually got a face hugger on his face, and he ends up with a chest burster, and like he has to fly into a yellow sun, and he throws up the alien embryo into the sun. Is the dumbest thing.
I know that Batman fought the Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, he also fought a predator,
He did.
and he fought aliens, and then Superman and Batman fought the aliens and the predators. And then there's Spider-Man fought Red Sonja.
Red Sonja.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
that's a bad one.
Rob D asks, "Have we seen the new Batmobile?" Yeah, actually, me and Jeremy and Matthew from the Geek Static have a chat that we chat through, and I showed them the picture of the Batmobile. I like it. I can get behind it.
That's fine.
It's I like that it's more conspicuous. It's the most conspicuous Batmobile.
Doesn't have giant fins on it.
No, it has like little like small ones.
Tank.
Yeah, it's like I can get behind that. Like, well, okay, it looks very grungy too, and like it just kind of looks like anybody could have built that in their shop and everything. So like, because like when you see the regular Batmobile, like okay, someone who built that has to have like a lot of money. So,
Do you remember in Batman Forever when the Robin sneaks out on the motorcycle and he's like gets in the fight with like a bunch of thugs?
oh yeah, he hijacks the Batmobile.
Yeah, and the Batmobile has like the fin flaps.
Yeah,
Awful.
and he's just like bouncing in it, and you can see the flame kind of like underneath it.
So bad.
That movie's kind of nostalgic in a way, but it is kind of funny. Like
There's elements that are good. That's why it's so frustrating.
it has a good. You've heard of the Flaming Lips, right?
No.
The band. They sing that song in the movie that Riddler at Riddler's apartment.
Oh, I don't. The only song I remember from that movie is "Seal Kiss from a Rose."
Oh, okay. Well, that song. Well, the Flaming Lips have a song in there, and they're from Oklahoma City. So.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, we've seen the new Batmobile. I like it. I'll okay. I remember the Mohawk Batmobile from Batman for the Mohawk Batmobile.
Yeah, that's a good way of describing it. Well, because the Tim Burton Batmobile was so cool looking, and then this one just looked.
Oh, I was talking to Geek Static in a podcast that my wife there's a guy out here in Oklahoma City that has a replica of this. I think he made it himself. It's a '60s Batmobile, and he has it like at shows or parades or something. But for like a event that my wife was working, she texted me a picture saying like, "You got to come down to this event. It's by the state fairgrounds in Oklahoma City. Like they have the '60s Batmobile out here." And I saw the picture. I'm like, so I get dressed in my Batman clothes and I'm wearing like Batman sunglasses. I was gonna get a picture by it. Halfway there, like she texted me like, "Sorry, the people that brought it here realized they were in the wrong area, so they moved it." I was like, "Oh." I missed it by like 5 minutes, and then I get there. I'm like, he's like, "Well, do you still want to walk around this event?" I'm like, yeah, okay. And while I'm still wearing my Batman gear, like everybody asked me, like, "Hey man, did you see the new Batmobile? The Batmobile out here?" I'm like, "No."
It was the weirdest thing. For my job, we used to do pickups like at people's houses and deliveries and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And we went to this place, and it was this couple that made. You ever seen the Love Bug?
Yes.
They built replica Love Bugs.
Oh, really?
What they did in their retirement, they just loved that series of films. They just built Kirby's. They had like 5 of them.
I saw a replica at Disney World. I got at one of the hotels that me and my wife and friends are staying at, and I got a picture by it.
There's also a guy who has one of the General Lees
Oh,
from Dukes of Hazzard around here. There's someone who made the vehicles that are on the rails in Jurassic Park, the green ones.
mm-hmm.
It's one of those.
Nice.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
the weirdest things people make. I want one of those Jeep Wranglers from back then that has the Jurassic Park. I always wanted one of those.
When they at the Warren Theater here in Oklahoma City, whenever they do like big blockbuster type movies, like Jurassic World when they came out,
Mhm.
they for the event they hire people and cosplayers and everything to come out and bring like for Star Wars they always have people that are Jedi and they have like remote control R2D2s
Hmm.
and they like for pictures and they had the Jurassic Park Jeeps and let's see, Rob D. Movie slash TV car you would want the most besides one of the Batmobiles. I was actually going to mention this. So you were talking about my dad actually got a picture by a replica of the James Bond Aston Martin.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, that's the car that I would want is the Aston Martin.
I always loved because I'm a Mustang fan. In Diamonds Are Forever, the Bond car is a Mustang. I always loved that one.
Uh, yeah, yeah.
It was like a 71,
Mm-hmm.
72 Mustang. I was bought actually one of those. Believe it or not, it was my first car. It was a green 72 Ford Mustang with a vinyl top.
Nice.
And one of the things that turned me off because I live in an area with a lot of sap. So it would have been ruined. But also it had been hit in a car accident and the whole back was crooked. And they wanted $10,000 for it. And I said,
Oh.
no, we're not playing that game.
But yeah, to answer Rob D's question, I would probably want the James Bond car.
I want the Road Warrior vehicle.
What's that from?
What's that?
What's
The
that from?
car?
Mad Max. I figured it was from Mad Max. I just never seen Mad Max.
Yeah, the Road Warrior. That thing's a beast.
I want to get the Aston Martin Lego set.
Oh, is there one?
There is. It's like $150 though.
Eee.
They have the '89 Batmobile, and I want it so bad because it has like a feature where you could turn it and machine guns shoot out of it. It's like it's $250 though.
Damn.
I know, and then like I was surprised like when most of these like whenever the Kappa thing was happening,
Mhm.
like most of the channels that I like to watch, they did like Lego stuff. And I was just like, man, I hope these channels are gonna be okay. But then I realized like most of the Legos that you would buy nowadays, like even Lego themselves says like, yeah, we prefer you to be 16 and older to build this. Yeah. Have you ever noticed that?
No, I haven't. I noticed that Legos are a lot different than they were in '99 when I
Mhm.
was into Legos. They
I've
actually
never
look like the things they're supposed to be now.
I was watching a Star Wars channel, like he has a vlog channel with him and his wife, and they send him Legos to review and assemble, and then they want them to give one away free as like a award or something like that. What are they called? Giveaways. Yeah.
What?
And he said like he was complaining about how his Lego. He's like, man, I don't like that these Legos have instructions now, or like they're all in like steps, like package steps. He's like, when I was a kid, we just dumped the whole thing out there, and we suffered through it for days until it was done.
Yeah, that's true. I remember the first one of the Harry Potter castle was like that. That was the first one that was kind of like that for me. But I was so thankful they did that with the Star Destroyer.
Yeah. Oh, have you put together the Star Destroyer?
What's up?
Have you put together the Star Destroyer?
The original one,
Oh man, nice.
the mid 2000s. Yeah, that thing was brutal. That took me all of winter break.
There's a Lego store at the mall in the city, and I saw that they had the new Star Destroyer out. I'm like, want that so much, but it's
$700.
So what?
I thought it was like $800.
It's like $700-800. I'm like,
Jesus Christ, I couldn't pay that for Legos. I wouldn't pay really anything for Legos. I have no space for Legos here. It's just not something I'm into anymore. I told Dylan if he ever decided to come to Northern California, he could have all my Legos.
I want the Batmobile, and I think after that I would be good. But I also want to get my tattoo, and
Yeah, tattoos are expensive.
yeah, they are.
That's
Rob,
about it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, the Harry Potter castle sets were so cool because they were designed to be combined into one.
Yes, they were for the first two films. And then the third one, the castle changed in the movie, so they didn't do that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, I took my wife. Me and my wife went to the new updated park for Harry Potter in Universal, Florida.
Oh yeah, my family's gonna go to that this
Oh, are you?
summer. I don't know if I am because I'm going to Disneyland in Anaheim.
Oh, okay.
Well, and I don't know if I want to take that much vacation during the summer. I don't know if I'll have that much vacation to be completely honest. Probably will, but we like to have someone to babysit the cats.
Mm-hmm.
Is there like because it's fire season in California all summer into fall, even in the winter. It's like almost always fire season here. So like it'd be nice to have one of us there.
Mm-hmm.
I'll sit and I'll like that'd be okay with me.
Yeah.
I don't
Oklahoma.
want to go to I don't want to go to Florida in summer.
It's muggy.
Yeah, I went to Louisiana in the summer. That was a little rough. I got acclimated to it, but we weren't outside all the time,
Mm-hmm.
and I would be.
We went. Me and my wife went to Universal and Disney World in Florida for our honeymoon, and it was muggy and it rained quite a bit, but it didn't like ruin anything. But even if you go into the winter, it's still a little warm and muggy, and it does rain on occasion.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you ever go to Universal Florida, it's really fun. Like, because I like the Diagon Alley.
Oh yeah. No, I actually had the elder one because there's a Harry Potter park in Burbank.
Oh, okay.
Universal's Hollywood.
Yeah, I was actually out there when me and my wife were visiting California. We actually didn't like that version better for some reason.
Well, they're more cramped in LA.
Yeah, and also the Hogwarts ride broke down on us. Like,
Oh no, the one ride in the park.
yeah, it broke down like when we were passing the Dementors, and like it froze, and I had a Dementor hand like this close to my face for like 20 minutes until they fixed the ride.
There goes the immersion.
Yeah. I gotta ask, do you guys got your toilet paper?
Yes, it
Yes.
was hell, but yes. Yeah, we talked about that at the beginning of the podcast. You going to Walmart.
Oh yeah, Rob D. I was in the Walmart parking pickup app for 4 hours last night, and I didn't even buy toilet paper. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was just getting regular groceries.
Dude, I got a 6-pack of toilet paper and then I remembered I had a 6-pack. So I'm good for a little while.
Yeah, I bought just a couple more. I bought them not because of the virus. I bought them because everybody else was buying them, and I'm like, well, I don't want to run out. So
No, you know what you do? I just came up with this yesterday at work. Buy napkins and buy Lysol. Wipe your ass with napkins, throw it in the garbage, and just spray that motherfucker with Lysol so it doesn't stink. That's what you do. And then wash your hands, which you should be doing already.
yeah, I know. I was just like, you shouldn't you be washing your hands anyway? I mean,
Or if it's really bad, like you got a liquid one, just go and hop in the shower. Just bidet yourself.
and bleach the heck out of that shower afterwards.
Yeah. Or Lysol. Lysol solves all problems along with Clorox disinfectant wipes.
But yes, Rob D, we do have toilet paper. But I think I'm good if you are, man.
Yeah, I need to go to work in the morning.
Yeah, I got my wife's working from home, but she's got to be on the computer all day, and I got to watch the baby. So
Yeah. All right. Well, it was good to have you on. Thanks for doing this impromptu.
yeah, man, thanks for having me on. I enjoyed it. I need to do it some more sometime.
All right, you guys. Have a good evening.
Later.